Good evening. I'm Athens Abell. Welcome to On Watch News, Channel 23. Tonight I have three guests: mayoral candidate Bill Zoslocki, Modesto City School Board candidate Bill Mussman, and cancer survivor and health advocate Kathy Zoslocki. My first guest this evening is mayoral candidate and Modesto visionary Bill Zoslocki. Here at Channel 23, we've been given a rare privilege to peek into the otherwise cloudy looking glass of politics. Sometimes not clear as to what we're honestly seeing, Bill Zoslocki has been open to the most scrutinizing eyes of Modesto. Does he have the answers that Modesto is looking for? He's been here with us a few weeks ago, and he's back with us tonight to give us some updates. Welcome back.
Thank you. Pleasure to be back.
I'd like to hear how your campaign has been going over the last few weeks.
Well, it's going fine. In fact, we've had broad acceptance of a lot of the ideas and some of the just thinking of what the struggles that Modesto has had. As people hear the message there, they understand. And as you can see, my campaign's grassroots. I started in March, and signs are going up. People are calling.
I see them a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, especially on the west side. Do you have a strong constituency out there?
I think I have a strong constituency everywhere. That surprises me even to hear that, but it's just where I'm going. Once people hear the message, they understand what it's all about.
You know, I was saying that your answers are consistent. I've been to several of the mayoral candidate forums, and every time I hear you speak, it's just consistent, time after time. It seems like you don't speak to your audience, whoever's in front of you. You speak from your heart, and you speak honestly every time.
Well, the reason I got in this campaign was about jobs. In February, when I was still talking with Kathy about it, and a few people that I hold close as advisors, and the message wasn't getting out there about the necessity of jobs. And I've said this in so many formats. Can you name for me one major manufacturer that's come to Modesto in the last 20 years? And of course the answer, there is no answer in Modesto. You'll hear people sometimes talk of something that's happened out in the county, but then the tax dollars don't fully get into the city of Modesto. And the impact of having good wealth-producing jobs in Modesto is just not as fully received as other locations. But in Modesto, we have not been a business-friendly community, and that's why in March I said this message needs to get out, and so I jumped in the race.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You answered the call to duty and you jumped in there.
Yeah, it's been challenging, but it has also been rewarding. The number of people I get to meet, the opportunity to meet with people and hear different perspectives is truly rewarding and encouraging. From the comments that I get back all the time.
One of your slogans back a few weeks ago when we were talking was to bring customer service back to City Hall.
Yes.
How do you see that happening?
Well, the advantage is if you look at what City Hall has had to go through, their economy has significantly been, their cash flow has been depleted because of the subprime crisis and also the economic slowdown. That's not only affected us here, but of course nationally. And that's allowing people to sort of refocus on what they need to do at all levels and all jobs, not only just public service jobs. So the opportunity, and you see it now. I go inside City Hall and meet people, and they're eager to go a little above and beyond. So the challenge is to carry that through to its fullest. And I call it empowering our civil servants to the point to let them get out there and do what needs to be done. So when you go in as let's say a small business owner wanting to open up a new business in Modesto, maybe employ 2 or 3 people, you shouldn't be fearful about going to the desk. Mm-hmm. And that person should be able to help you get through the process from beginning to end, and help get you from department to department, because it's a wild world when you hit government and some of the bureaucracies behind it all.
It is. There's a lot of paperwork, and there's a lot of steps that need to be done in a certain order. And as a small business person going in, you don't necessarily know those steps.
You don't, but the person behind the desk does.
Yeah.
And particularly if you have some requirements that would require some steps through the state. The fear, and I've had a good friend of mine have to deal with some state issues last year, actually about this time last year, and in April of this year, he still was not through the process. No one had helped him get through the state process. So we need to, our city needs to look as being an advocate. In other words, if we want to be the best city to do business in the state, the state of California is full of regulations. It's not a friendly state, and you can see it by the job flight. And this is not the first time it happens. It's been happening every year. But historically, in the most recent history, when we had the boom, that's okay. People could put up with extra pain and process. Now we need to be competitive in California if we expect to have jobs here. And Modesto needs to be competitive in the state of California, the best place to do business if we expect to bring jobs here.
Well, it seems like we have resources.
We have resources. We have not planned well for inviting businesses to come here. Take a look at just recently, last week's newspaper, Blue Diamond went down to Turlock. Turlock does not have the obstacles to prevent businesses from coming here. They planned ahead, took them about a 2-year process, and they planned the West Side Regional Business Park. And that's where Blue Diamond went. And so will other manufacturers. They have to have a home. Modesto doesn't have that advantage. There is very few acres that are really business locations. Businesses need to be on the freeway. That's so goods and services can exit out of the business and materials come to that business quickly. And Modesto does not have a location. If you were to come to Modesto, what took 2 years for Turlock would take us right now 4 to 5 years. And businesses won't wait that long. And that's where we're not job friendly. We need to be ahead, get the planning done, you've probably heard this term, it's sort of overused, shovel ready. That's where Modesto needs to be. We need to be shovel ready and pick the businesses we want.
Well, what is shovel ready? I've heard
shovel ready means you get the entitlements. This is insider logo.
Okay.
Entitlement means you have all the zoning out of the way, all of the issues for CEQA. CEQA is California's Environmental Quality Act. It's saying that what happens here, everything has been examined, the impacts have been looked at.
All the specs are done and everything.
And it doesn't mean streets are ready or in, but it certainly means sewer and water is available to the site. The zoning is out of the way, and it fits within the general plan of Modesto and all of those challenges. That's what Modesto has to do if we want to bring jobs here. And so that's what I'm going to do is move the planning department and move that planning process in fast forward for businesses. People will say, well, you're a home builder. You're really doing this for homes. No, we have enough vacant homes. We need to talk about homes right now. Let's get jobs back because that's what people need. People are hurting. You would just look at all the vacant houses. People are unable to, even if they're renting or have a mortgage, it's difficult for them to make payments right now. We need to bring jobs back. And Modesto's ground zero for some of the most challenging areas in the state. So let's take those challenges and move Modesto into first place rather than last place where we normally